Okay, so to create the joint masks, it's actually not that hard. It's really just a combination of layering and manipulation of the joint mask itself. So what I'm doing here is I'm importing a copy of one of your characters that I recently troubleshot for you. Okay, so for the joint masks, what we do is, after importing your character, what we do is, first of all, we're going to run the confirm multi-angle settings. This is going to fix our character to the angle that was set up in Flash. So now we have all of this. If we test it, we end up with something that looks like that. And naturally, we don't want some of these joints to show. So what we do is go to the Joint Mask tab in the Scene Manager, select the joint area for the joint that you want to mask out. And depending on the layering, the way this is set up, you'll either be able to see it or not. So in this case, by removing the joint mask, it takes away that jaggy there, and that's all based on your own layering. So let's move that out of the way, and let's test that real quick. So we have something that looks like this, and the reason this pops out is because you also have other angles that have joint masks and stuff. It's using the 3D feature to show different things. So one of the things we can do here is go back to our Scene Manager, the Joint Mask tab, put our joint mask somewhere in there, select the actual body part and send it to the back. So now that it's in the back, all we have to really worry about is that region. So select that joint mask, and we're going to try to just mask out that one area right there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, we're going to send this part to the back. Boom. And now let's take a quick test. Alright, so it's a little jaggy there. But that's easily fixed by adjusting the joint mask. We're really just concerned about this one gap here. That's the only gap that we're really worried about. I guess that would be good. Okay, let's take a look at it now. Alright, so now I notice that there's like a pop kind of thing that happens here. So now this gives me a little bit more to work with. I'm going to take this joint mask, and I'm actually going to mask out this entire area of the body right here. Okay, let's see what happens now. Looks like I'm getting a little closer. So let's close this. Unfortunately, you can't skew these things, so you kind of have to guess around. There's no deformation tool or anything like that either. So let's try that. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing here. Okay, that seems to do the trick a little bit better. I think I found the shape that I need to go for. I'm just going to put it right there. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, let's test it out. That seems to work a little bit better. Now let's work on these elbows. Okay. Let's send it to the back. And let's take a look at the joint mask, see what it is that it's hiding. Alright, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one. And I'm gonna send it to the back. So now let's test it. Okay. Seems to work much better. Let's take a look at some of the other angles. Just make sure that these angles have that particular region masked out as well. There we go. Alright, let's try this angle here. And let's test it. So a lot of the angles that are adjacent to the pose that you're looking at are dependent on the two angles that are immediately to the side. So by doing each angle properly, you can get the masking sorted out. Okay, let's do the upper torso, joint mask, and that looks easy enough. Now let's do these legs. Okay, just gonna send them to the back. And we'll run a test. Okay, so I can see some artifact stuff right there. So we're gonna just worry ourselves about this little gap. Alright, we'll test it. Okay, maybe we don't want that piece to come up, so we'll go back here. We'll elongate it. and let's see what that looks like. Alright, so this one's about right almost, and this one needs some help here. So I could just make it really long so it conforms itself to that curve. Let's see what that looks like. That's a little bit better. And that's kind of basically how you keep going. I hope that gives you a pretty good idea on how to set up the joint masks for your character. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to help.